In the quest to understand the nature of reality, consciousness stands as one of the most enigmatic and fundamental phenomena. From ancient philosophical traditions to contemporary scientific inquiry, the exploration of consciousness has captivated the minds of thinkers across diverse cultures and disciplines. Among the myriad philosophical perspectives that seek to unravel the mysteries of consciousness, Panpsychism emerges as a provocative and intriguing proposition. Howdy, I'm just some random nude dude sitting in my closet talking to myself. It's also where I celebrate the power of free thinking and encourage bold ideas. As a society, we're often afraid to challenge the norms and think outside the box. But here, I embrace the unconventional. So sit back, relax, and join me on this journey of exploration, where we embrace our inner nude dude and push boundaries to discover new perspectives. Panpsychism posits that consciousness is not a rare and emergent property arising solely from complex neural networks, but is instead intrinsic to the fabric of the universe itself. At its core, Panpsychism suggests that consciousness is ubiquitous, existing in various forms and degrees throughout all levels of existence. From the smallest particles to the most complex organisms, consciousness permeates every aspect of reality, shaping the very essence of what it means to be. The roots of Panpsychism extend deep into the annals of philosophical history, with echoes found in the ideas of ancient thinkers such as Heraclitus and Leibniz. However, it's in contemporary discourse that Panpsychism has experienced a resurgence, drawing renewed interest from philosophers, scientists, and theorists seeking to grapple with the profound questions surrounding the nature of consciousness. Central to Panpsychism is the notion of microphenomenal consciousness, which proposes that even the smallest entities possess some form of subjective experience or awareness. This idea challenges traditional views that consciousness is exclusive to sentient beings and suggests a more holistic understanding of consciousness as a fundamental aspect of reality. Panpsychism also navigates the complex terrain of metaphysics, proposing various interpretations of the relationship between mind and matter. From Panpsychist Dualism, which suggests a coexistence of mental and physical aspects, to neural monism, which posits the single foundational substance from which both mind and matter emerge, Panpsychism offers a diverse array of philosophical frameworks for understanding the nature of consciousness. Integrating Panpsychism with physics presents both challenges and opportunities as theorists explore potential connections between consciousness and fundamental principles in the physical world. From quantum mechanics to information theory, attempts to reconcile panpsychist ideas with our understanding of the universe offer a rich interdisciplinary landscape for inquiry and exploration. Despite its compelling insights, Panpsychism is not without its critics and skeptics. The combination problem, which addresses the challenge of how individual consciousnesses combine to form the unified experience of complex organisms, poses a significant hurdle to panpsychist theories. Moreover, questions about the empirical basis of panpsychism and its compatibility with established scientific frameworks continue to fuel debate and discussion. In essence, panpsychism invites us to reconsider our understanding of consciousness and its place in the cosmos. By challenging conventional notions of mind and matter, panpsychism offers new avenues for philosophical inquiry and offers a profound perspective on the nature of reality itself. As we embark on this journey of exploration, we are confronted with the timeless question: what does it mean for consciousness to be fundamental? And what implications does this hold for our understanding of existence? The idea that consciousness is fundamental suggests that it is not merely an emergent property of complex systems, but is intrinsic to the fabric of reality itself. Proponents of panpsychism argue that consciousness is not something that arises as a result of specific arrangements of matter or complex neural networks, but is instead a fundamental aspect of the universe. This perspective suggests that consciousness is present everywhere, even in entities that lack nervous systems or brains. Some panpsychist views liken consciousness to other fundamental forces in the universe, such as gravity and electromagnetism. In this framework, consciousness is not reducible to physical processes, but is considered a fundamental aspect of reality alongside other natural phenomena. Panpsychism takes a non-reductive approach to consciousness, meaning that it does not attempt to explain consciousness solely in terms of physical processes and properties. Instead, it posits that consciousness is irreducible and cannot be fully explained by understanding the workings of the brain alone. Panpsychism encompasses the idea that consciousness may exist in various forms and degrees. While humans and other animals may exhibit complex forms of consciousness characterized by self-awareness and subjective experience, panpsychists suggest that even the simplest entities may possess some form of subjective experience or awareness. Viewing consciousness as fundamental may have implications for ethics and morality. If consciousness is pervasive in the universe, there may be ethical considerations regarding the treatment of all entities, not just those traditionally recognized as having consciousness in the human sense. Some aspects of panpsychism resonate with certain Eastern philosophies, such as certain interpretations of Buddhism and Hinduism. These philosophies often emphasize interconnectedness and the idea that consciousness permeates all existence. While the idea of consciousness as fundamental offers a novel perspective on the nature of reality, it also faces significant challenges and criticisms. Critics often raise questions about the nature of consciousness itself, the relationship between consciousness and physical processes, and the feasibility of panpsychism as a coherent philosophical framework. Overall, the concept of consciousness as fundamental is a central tenet of panpsychism, offering a unique perspective on the nature of reality and the role of consciousness within it. Panpsychist dualism is a philosophical position that combines elements of dualism and panpsychism. Dualism is a philosophical stance that posits the existence of two fundamentally distinct substances or principles, typically mind and matter. In the context of panpsychist dualism, this dualism refers to the coexistence of both mental and physical aspects of reality as irreducible and fundamental. Panpsychist dualism acknowledges the traditional mind-body duality found in philosophical discourse. However, instead of viewing mind and matter as entirely separate substances, as in substance dualism, or as ultimately reducible to physical processes, as in materialism, panpsychist dualism suggests that both mind and matter are fundamental and irreducible aspects of reality. In panpsychist dualism, the mental aspect refers to consciousness or subjective experience. Unlike materialism, which often reduces consciousness to purely physical processes, panpsychist dualism proposes that consciousness is an irreducible feature of the universe, present even in the most basic entities. The physical aspect of panpsychist dualism encompasses the material world and its associated properties and processes. While physicalism typically views the physical aspect as primary and the mental aspect as emergent or derivative, panpsychist dualism holds that both aspects are fundamental and coexist alongside each other. Panpsychist dualism seeks to integrate the mental and physical aspects of reality without reducing one to the other. Unlike some forms of substance dualism, which posit an ontological gap between mind and matter. Panpsychist dualism suggests a more holistic view in which both aspects are interconnected and codependent. Like other forms of dualism, Panpsychist dualism faces criticism, particularly regarding the interaction problem, the question of how mental and physical aspects interact with each other. Critics also raise concerns about the explanatory problem of dualism and the potential difficulties in reconciling it with empirical scientific findings. There can be variations within Panpsychist dualism, with different philosophers offering distinct interpretations and formulations. Some may emphasize the coexistence of mind and matter as complementary aspects of reality, while others may focus on the relationship between consciousness and physical processes. Overall, Panpsychist dualism represents a nuanced perspective that attempts to reconcile the insights of Panpsychism with traditional mind-body dualism found in philosophical discourse, offering a unique framework for understanding the nature of reality and consciousness. Microphenomenal consciousness is a concept within Panpsychism that suggests that even the smallest entities possess some form of subjective experience and awareness. Microphenomenal consciousness proposes that consciousness is not exclusive to complex organisms with nervous systems, but exists at the most fundamental level of reality. According to this view, even entities as simple as subatomic particles or individual cells possess some basic form of subjective experience or awareness. Proponents of microphenomenal consciousness argue that subjective experience is a fundamental aspect of existence, present from the very beginning of the universe. This implies that consciousness is not solely the product of biological evolution, but has been inherent in the fabric of reality since the inception of the cosmos. Microphenomenal consciousness suggests that consciousness exists in varying degrees, with more complex organisms exhibiting higher levels of consciousness compared to simpler entities. While humans and other animals may have rich and elaborate forms of subjective experience, even entities with minimal complexity may possess rudimentary forms of consciousness. Microphenomenal consciousness is a key component of panpsychist theories, which posit that consciousness is ubiquitous in the universe. By suggesting that consciousness exists at all levels of organization, including the microscale, Panpsychism seeks to provide a comprehensive account of the nature of consciousness. The idea of microphenomenal consciousness raises ethical questions about the treatment of all entities regardless of their complexity. If even the simplest particles possess some level of subjective experience, there may be moral considerations regarding their treatment and well-being. Critics of microphenomenal consciousness often raise questions about the nature and extent of consciousness in non-living entities. Skeptics may argue that attributing consciousness to inanimate objects or elementary particles lacks empirical evidence and leads to anthropomorphism or panpsychist overreach. Microphenomenal consciousness has profound philosophical implications for our understanding of the mind-body relationship, the nature of reality, and the place of consciousness in the cosmos. It challenges traditional views that consciousness is a late evolutionary development or a purely emergent property of complex neural networks. Overall, microphenomenal consciousness offers a provocative perspective on the nature of consciousness, suggesting that subjective experience is not confined to sentient beings, but is an intrinsic aspect of the universe at all levels of organization. The combination problem is a significant challenge faced by panpsychism, particularly when attempting to explain how the microphenomenal consciousness of individual entities combines to form the unified and integrated consciousness experienced by complex organisms. Coral comes to mind. So do jellyfish. One of the central aspects of the combination problem is the issue of unity of consciousness. Complex organisms, such as humans, experience a unified and integrated stream of consciousness, where various sensory inputs, thoughts, and emotions are seamlessly integrated into a single subjective experience. However, it's unclear how the individual microphenomenal experiences of separate entities could combine to generate this unified consciousness. Panpsychism faces a dilemma when addressing the combination problem. On the one hand, if consciousness emerges from the aggregation or organization of microphenomenal experiences, it raises questions about the nature of emergence and how complex consciousness arises from simpler components. On the other hand, if consciousness is considered a basic property of individual entities that compose complex organisms, it's challenging to explain how these individual consciousnesses combine without losing their distinctiveness. The combination problem also involves issues of integration and interaction between microphenomenal consciousnesses. Even if one can conceptualize how individual consciousnesses might exist, it remains unclear how they interact and integrate to produce higher order consciousness. This raises questions about the mechanisms or processes that facilitate such integration and the nature of the relationship between individual consciousnesses. Another aspect of the combination problem relates to phenomenal binding, which refers to the phenomenon whereby disparate sensory experiences are bound together into a unified perceptual experience. Panpsychism struggles to explain how microphenomenal experiences, which may be associated with individual entities or sensory modalities, are bound together to create coherent perceptual experiences. But I think we face that same problem with how we perceive, right? Complex organisms exhibit a wide range of conscious experience, including perceptions, thoughts, emotions, and subjective states. Panpsychism must account for this variability in conscious experience while still addressing the combination problem. This entails explaining how the diverse microphenomenal experiences contribute to and shape the richness and diversity of conscious experiences observed in complex organisms. Various philosophers and theorists have proposed solutions to the combination problem within the framework of panpsychism. These solutions often involve invoking metaphors or analogies from fields such as information theory, network dynamics, or quantum mechanics to explain how individual consciousnesses combine and interact to produce higher order consciousness. Overall, the combination problem poses a significant challenge for panpsychism, highlighting the complexities involved in understanding how microphenomenal consciousnesses combine to give rise to the unified and integrated consciousness experienced by complex organisms. Addressing this problem requires careful consideration of issues related to emergence, integration, interaction, and the nature of subjective experience. The historical roots of panpsychism can be traced back to ancient philosophical traditions and have been revisited and developed by various thinkers throughout history. The roots of panpsychism can be found in ancient philosophical traditions, particularly in the ideas of pre-Socratic philosophers such as Heraclitus and Anaxagoras. Heraclitus famously posited that everything flows, and emphasized the interconnectedness of all things, suggesting a worldview in which consciousness, or soul, permeates the universe. Anaxagoras proposed the concept of nous, or mind, as the ordering principle that imbues all matter with intelligence. Elements of panpsychism can also be found in medieval and Renaissance philosophy. Figures such as Giordano Bruno and Nicholas of Cusa explored the ideas of an animate and intelligent universe, in which every part possesses some form of consciousness or divinity. These thinkers contributed to the development of a holistic worldview that emphasized the interdependence of all things. One of the most influential proponents of panpsychism in modern philosophy was Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz. In his philosophical system outlined in the Monadology, Leibniz proposed that the universe is composed of individual entities called monads, each of which possesses its own unique perspective or windowless perception. According to Leibniz, these monads were not merely mechanical entities, but have a primitive form of perception or consciousness. Panpsychism experienced a revival in the 19th and 20th centuries, with thinkers such as Arthur Schopenhauer, William James, and Alfred North Whitehead exploring variations of the idea. Schopenhauer, influenced by Eastern philosophies such as Hinduism and Buddhism, proposed a metaphysics in which the universal consciousness, or will, underlies all phenomena. James, known for his work in psychology and philosophy, entertained panpsychist ideas in his exploration of the nature of consciousness. Whitehead developed a process-oriented metaphysics in which consciousness or experience is a fundamental aspect of reality, present in even the simplest entities. Panpsychism continues to be a topic of interest in contemporary philosophy, with renewed attention from philosophers such as David Chalmers, Philip Goff, and Galen Strawson. These thinkers have offered new insights and interpretations on panpsychism in light of advances in neuroscience, quantum mechanics, and the philosophy of mind. Overall, the historical roots of panpsychism reflect a long-standing philosophical interest in the nature of consciousness and the relationship between mind and matter. While the specific formulations and interpretations of panpsychism have evolved over time, the underlying idea of consciousness as a fundamental aspect of reality has persisted throughout the history of philosophy. Neutral monism is a philosophical position that suggests that both mind and matter are manifestations of a more fundamental substance or principle that is neither exclusively mental nor exclusively physical. Neutral monism proposes that there exists a single foundational substance or principle from which both mind and matter emerge. This substance is considered neutral because it is neither purely mental nor purely physical, but serves as the basis for both aspects of reality. Advocates of neutral monism argue that despite the apparent duality of mind and matter, all human experiences ultimately stem from the same underlying source, whether it's the sensation of pain, the perception of color, or the feeling of joy. Neutral monism posits that these diverse experiences arise from the interactions of the neutral substance. Neutral monism stands in contrast to traditional mind-body dualism, which posits an ontological distinction between mind and matter. Instead of viewing mind and matter as separate substances with distinct properties, neutral monism suggests that there are two different manifestations or aspects of the same underlying reality. Neutral monism shares some similarities with panpsychism, particularly in its recognition of the fundamental substance from which consciousness emerges. However, while panpsychism often emphasizes the presence of consciousness in all things, neutral monism adopts a broader perspective that encompasses both mental and physical phenomena. The roots of neutral monism can be traced back to philosophers such as Baruch Spinoza and Ernst Mach. Spinoza proposed a monistic metaphysics in which the universe is composed of a single substance that manifests as both thought and extension, mind and matter. Mach, influenced by empirical scientific principles, advocated for a neutral monism grounded in sensory experience and the laws of physics. In contemporary philosophy, neutral monism continues to be a topic of interest and debate. philosophers like Bertrand Russell and William James have contributed to its development, offering their own interpretations and refinements. More recently, neutral monism has been revisited in discussions surrounding consciousness studies, quantum mechanics, and the philosophy of mind. Neutral monism has important implications for the philosophy of mind, particularly in its attempt to reconcile the subjective experiences of consciousness with the objective observations of the physical world. By positing a neutral substrate that underlies both mental and physical phenomena, neutral monism offers a framework for bridging the gap between mind and matter. Overall, neutral monism represents a distinctive approach to understanding the nature of reality, suggesting that both mind and matter are manifestations of a deeper, neutral substrate that transcends traditional dualistic distinctions. While it poses its own challenges and complexities, neutral monism provides a rich philosophical perspective for exploring the fundamental nature of existence. The integration of panpsychism with physics involves attempts to reconcile the ideas of consciousness as a fundamental aspect of reality with our understanding of the physical world as described by modern physics. Some proponents of panpsychism have explored potential connections between consciousness and quantum mechanics, the branch of physics that describes the behavior of particles at the smallest scales. Quantum mechanics is known for its probabilistic nature, and phenomena such as superposition and entanglement, which have led some to speculate about the role of consciousness in the collapse of quantum wave function. Various theories have been proposed that suggest a relationship between consciousness and quantum mechanics. For example, the Orco-R theory, proposed by physicist Roger Penrose and anesthesiologist Stuart Hameroff, posits that consciousness arises from quantum processes occurring within microtubules in neurons. While controversial and subject to criticism, such theories attempt to provide a physical basis for the presence of consciousness in the universe. Another avenue for integrating panpsychism with physics involves the concepts of information and complexity. Some theorists propose that consciousness may be related to the processing of information or the emergence of complex systems. In this view, consciousness is seen as a fundamental aspect of the universe's capacity to organize and interact with information. Panpsychism can also be integrated with principles from systems theory and complexity science, which study the behavior of complex systems composed of interconnected parts. Within this framework, consciousness may be seen as an emergent property that arises from the interactions and organization of simpler components, echoing panpsychist ideas about the ubiquity of consciousness at all levels of organization. Panpsychism encourages a more holistic perspective on the relationship between consciousness and the physical world, rejecting the reductionist approach that seeks to explain consciousness solely in the terms of neural processes. By considering consciousness as a fundamental aspect of reality, panpsychism suggests that our understanding of physics may need to be expanded to accommodate the role of consciousness in the universe. Integrating panpsychism with physics is a complex endeavor that raises many challenges and open questions. Critics often point to the lack of empirical evidence for the presence of consciousness in fundamental physical processes and the difficulty of reconciling panpsychist ideas with established physical theories. Additionally, the nature of the relationship between consciousness and the physical world remains a topic of ongoing debate and exploration in both philosophy and physics. Overall, the integration of panpsychism with physics represents a fertile area for interdisciplinary inquiry, where philosophical ideas about consciousness intersect with the empirical findings and theoretical frameworks of modern physics. While still speculative and controversial, this integration offers a promising avenue for deepening our understanding of the nature of consciousness and its place in the cosmos. In our exploration of panpsychism, we have delved into a rich tapestry of philosophical ideas and inquiries, traversing ancient wisdom, contemporary discourse, and the frontiers of scientific exploration. Through the lens of panpsychism, we have encountered a profound reimagining of consciousness, one that challenges conventional notions and invites us to contemplate the very essence of reality itself. At its core, panpsychism offers a radical proposition that consciousness is not a mere byproduct of complex neural processes, but is instead intrinsic to the fabric of the universe. From the smallest particles to the grand expanse of the cosmos, consciousness permeates every level of existence, shaping the very nature of what it means to be alive. Through the concept of microphenomenal consciousness, panpsychism suggests that even the simplest entities possess some form of subjective experience or awareness. This idea underscores the interconnectedness of all things and challenges us to reconsider the boundaries between the animate and the inanimate, the sentient and the non-sentient. Panpsychism navigates the complex terrain of metaphysics, offering various interpretations of the relationship between mind and matter. Whether through Panpsychist Dualism, neutral monism, or other philosophical frameworks, Panpsychism invites us to explore the interplay between consciousness and the physical world, pushing the boundaries of our understanding and expanding the horizons of human thought. Yet, Panpsychism is not without its challenges and criticisms. The combination problem, which addresses the challenge of how individual consciousnesses combine to form a unified experience of complex organisms, poses a significant hurdle for panpsychist theories. Moreover, questions about the empirical basis of panpsychism and its compatibility with established scientific frameworks continue to fuel debate and discussion. Despite these challenges, panpsychism offers a compelling vision of reality, one that transcends limitations of traditional dualistic thinking and opens new pathways for philosophical inquiry and exploration. As we grapple with the mysteries of consciousness and its place in the cosmos, panpsychism stands as a beacon of insight, guiding us towards a deeper understanding of ourselves and the universe we inhabit. Panpsychism invites us to embrace a holistic perspective on consciousness, one that celebrates the interconnectedness of all things and the inherent richness of existence. As we continue our journey of exploration and discovery, may panpsychism serve as a reminder of the boundless potential of human inquiry and the enduring quest to unravel the mysteries of the mind and the universe. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you found this video informative and thought-provoking. This is the point where others tell you, if you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more content just like this. But we know that kind of thing is for losers. Don't be a loser. And as always, I welcome your feedback and ideas for future videos in the comments section below. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep embracing your inner nude, dude.